My name is Jean Walter. I have a nonprofit called International Leadership Outreach. I was invited to come to Kenya in 2012 by a gentleman who operates in Ingrid Education Centre in Kayole, Matopeni, Nairobi, Kenya. I worked with that organization for 4 trips, and I brought many things: dresses, Bibles, reusable sani pads, toys, a variety of things. And the most important thing I did was connect him with a gentleman who then began to work with him in a way that allowed him to move on and evolve. After the 4th trip, the chairman of the board of the nonprofit community-based organization in Kenya organized a tour for me. So I went to Nairobi, Nakuru, Kimilili, and then Kericho. And in each place, I spoke in a church that he was related to the person who was the pastor or bishop of that church. In Kimilili, the individual who translated for me was Bernard Tindivale. And when he translated, I felt like he was speaking from my own heart. And that really inspired me and motivated me to discover more about this person. I felt that he really cared for me, that he understood me in a way that other individuals that I had worked with in Kenya did not. And so I agreed to come back to Kimilili, and in 2018 I declared Kimilili as my home base in Kenya. Things that I have done in Kimilili were extensive, just the way that I have been worked with the other gentleman. With him, I worked for 4 trips and 5 years, and then with Kimilili now I've worked for 7 years. So a total of 12 years that I've been involved, coming to Kenya, bringing various things and speaking in the churches here in Kenya. On my 9th trip in 21, I brought reusable sani pads to the people of Kimilili, and the women there said, "We think we can make these," and that really motivated me to see how could I assist them, because my understanding of how to work with people is not to push my own ideas, but to come in and support what it is that they want to do. So I found some supporters, and we began to bring that into effect. So in May of 22, they started a class where they taught tailoring and computer skills, and they also distributed these reusable sani pad kits. They hired a tailor because, when you begin learning how to do sewing, you don't necessarily know how to create everything perfectly. So they hired a tailor to create the reusable sani pads and a kit where we had panties and soap, and those were distributed to a number of schools in the area. International Leadership Outreach is meant to be where individuals can come and experience, be immersed in another culture, and connect with, integrate with, engage with, network with the local people. And so my desire and dream was always to bring people from the US to come and learn what it's like to be in another country, see what it's like to be in another culture, and to understand the challenges and the successes of other people. The hospitality in Kenya is amazing. I just have always felt very welcomed and treasured. They just have this nurturing nature about them that really can't be explained unless you experience it. In October of last year, I met a gentleman online. He is in Kampala, Uganda, and he had a project called She Learns. So when I first looked at his website, I knew immediately that I needed to get to know this gentleman. He just had a heart for the girl child and for the problems that women face. So I connected with him, and one of the first questions I asked him was, "Do you have a reusable sani pad project?" He said, no, but he sent me a budget. And so I thought, okay, this gentleman is organized. He has a vision of what he wants to do, and he understands what the process is, that in order to create what you desire, you have to look at first, what is the cost? And so his name is Fred Sebagala, and I spoke with the donor, I raised some money, and then I was able to begin that reusable sani pad project here in Kampala, Uganda.
Deborah introduced Jean to me, and then we connected up with Jean. So Jean is a wonderful lady, and she has helped us so much as she learns, so that we can be able to provide the sanitary pads. There is a huge difference. Before we met, we were all alone and we couldn't produce the sanitary pads. Yes, the need was there, but when she came, she has been able to support us financially so that we can buy the fabric, so that we can go to the villages. She buys the fuel for the cars so that we can be there in the village, and we do whatever that we do.
My desire was to connect my people in Kimilili with the gentleman in Kampala, and to exchange ideas, network, see what each other's doing, because I felt that they were doing similar work, and I felt that it would be a good experience for both parties.
I want to appreciate our sister Jean because she gave me an opportunity to travel with her to Uganda and visit a group that is called She Learns. The group that also deals with helping the girls so that they can get education, supporting them with the use of making the reusable sanitary towels. They also reach out to the elderly, and they do the school ministry. I have been challenged with the work that they do, and one thing I have learned from them is that it is important to have a vision and also be passionate about that vision that you have. Because if you are not passionate about the vision, then it will not be realized. Then they are putting in a lot of commitment. So I also learned that I need to be committed in the work that I am doing, so that what we have planned and purposed can also be realized.
The people in Kenya and Uganda, I've discovered, are so grateful just to even receive the smallest thing. And you know, when people have that kind of gratitude, it makes you want to come back and give more. And so they always let me speak in their church, Gospel Revival Springs, there in Kimilili, Kenya. And I always enjoy doing that, sharing my heart. You know, when I came back from my second trip in 2013, I was really so depressed. I thought, Lord, what is it going to take? $1 million? I just don't have enough. And he took me to Acts chapter 3, where Peter and John are going to the temple, and there's this man, the beggar, there, and he is expecting that they're going to give him some money. And instead, what they say is, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. And what the Lord showed me was, you know, those gentlemen had money in their pocket when they went to the temple. So that's what it is for me. I have money in my pocket. And they gave him something he wasn't expecting that was more powerful and more meaningful than money. And that is what I learned from that. What the Lord showed me is that what's inside of me is far more powerful than any of the money that I give. You know, you give one thing, and it you know, if it's food, it's used up. If it's a toy, it breaks. If it's a Bible, it may or may not be read. If it's a dress, you know, it gets worn out. But when I give of my heart, then what I'm giving is eternal and it never goes away. Margaret Tindivale, the wife of Bernard Tindivale, and Dr. Edith came with me, and I actually was very grateful for their company, because it was quite challenging to go over the border from Kenya into Kampala through Busia, and they assisted me greatly in that endeavor.
And when we arrived here, we found our host Fred, who had organized a meeting with the elderly people in one of the villages in Kampala. I was happy to interact with the old people, and I want to thank God because of the gift of life that He has bestowed upon them. So this day I have learned that we have the old people in the society, but they don't have somebody to care for them, especially in relation to their basic needs. So this has challenged me that even as I go back home in Kenya, in our village Kimilili, I know that we also have old people who are there and they do not have any care.
Fred had quite the schedule and agenda for us, and really integrated us into the community. First, we went to the school that he works with and spoke to the students on 2 different occasions on the same day, and then on Saturday we went to a village and took reusable sani pads, a variety of staples for the elderly, and toys for the children. And then on Sunday we went to his church, and then after church both Margaret and Dr. Edith were able to speak in all these different places, and then I was the major speaker. And then Fred took us to visit the individual who's the tailor for the project here in Kampala, Uganda.
My name is Fela. I live in Kitende, Bwebajia. I do tailoring. I got that initiative of making reusable pads way back when I got to find out girls deep in the villages were suffering with what to use during the administration periods. They can use and rewash them. Since they're in the villages, people are not well off. They can't afford the buying of the disposable pads. We thought of them getting those pads where they can use and wash. After washing, when they're done with their periods, they keep them and wait for the next round. I can make a total of 50 pads per day. After making them, we pack them, then give them to Shillans, and Shillans makes a program of distributing them to the villages where those girls are in need. I came to know about Shillans way back when it was just forming. As a woman, I got interested in what they are doing, like on helping the girl child, on how you should meet your purpose in life, because we are very many people with different dreams. We have different purposes for life, but we don't know how to meet them. But with Shillans, it awakens your faith. Anyway, it's all about God. With God, I can do everything.
What happened from the project in Kimilili was they created a school teaching tailoring and computer classes, and then with Uganda they had reusable sani pads as well. So when I applied for the speaking tour, because I had reusable sani pad projects and that was something they were focusing on, then that's why I was accepted immediately. So then we went to Raising Arms Foundation, and we were treated with these children that this gentleman teaches how to do dance and play the drums. So we were treated to some Ugandan dances, and it was really fun and enjoyable to see that there's somebody here on the ground who is working with these children who perhaps have a really difficult time coming up with the fees, and because they don't have the money to go to school, they're sitting at home idle. So now he's giving them an opportunity to learn a skill that then they possibly can use to create income for themselves. And he's also paying school fees for them, and so he's helping them. Most of them are orphans, or maybe they have relatives, but those relatives are distant relatives, and they don't necessarily have the funds to support them as well. This was the first time that International Leadership Outreach was able to do what it was created to do. This networking and exchange of ideas and the opportunity to create this coming together of individuals between 2 different countries, sharing the experience of the work that Fred is doing, and Fred, on the other hand, also received the opportunity for people from an international country, including myself, to speak into his school and to his church. So it just this marvelous synergistic opportunity to experience another country. My leaders from Kimilili came to Kampala and left energized, refreshed, challenged, with a heart of passion and an understanding of what it takes now to move forward in their own project. Dr. Edith said, they were kind of in a place of being stagnated, and this opportunity gave them to see what they could do, and so they had a lot of time to discuss together how are they going to move forward and what are the next steps that they're going to take. And I'm absolutely thrilled. I can't wait to see what they do and what comes of the investment now that I have put into them. My life has been spent doing a lot of life coaching for myself, a lot of professional and personal development, and I understand the value of what it is to invest in myself. And I wanted to do the same thing for these leaders. That, to me, that's the greatest impact, because it's eternal. When I'm investing in leaders, I'm putting into them the knowledge, the experience, the understanding, so that now then they can do the same thing when they return to their city for the individuals that are in their own community. And so I'm absolutely thrilled that I can do that, and my next steps will be to see how I can bring people from the U.S. to come and participate in the same kind of way. I know that they would absolutely be thrilled to meet the people in Kampala and the people in Kimilili, and I have contacts in Nairobi as well. And now, because of this tour with Warrior Queens Rise, I've met a lot of people in Kisii. So there's a great opportunity for individuals from the U.S. This is the first trip that I've actually really worked at raising the money, and it took me 6 months to raise that money. That was very challenging, and I don't enjoy it at all. It's an expansion for me, working on myself and being okay with receiving money from people to help me do this work. The third challenge that I faced was that I was single, and I've been single for the last 12 years, and it really wasn't okay for me to come to Kenya and be single, and I didn't have a community to support me. So when I was living in Tacoma, Washington, I was involved with a Messianic Jewish congregation, and they supported me to some degree, but they really weren't backing me at all. And then my parents died, and I moved to Pasco, Washington, where I've been for the last 4 years. And finally in January, I just told the Lord, I said, I have to have a community. I'm going and doing this marvelous work in Kenya, and I'm all alone. Nobody knows I'm coming or going, and it's not okay. I need to have people who pray for me, who support me, even if they don't support me financially, that they know what I'm doing and that they're praying for me in my own city while I'm here in Kenya. And in February, I met a gentleman who then proposed in May, and so now in August we were married, and 3 weeks after we were married, I left for Kenya. So you know that this gentleman, his name is Ken, really loves me, that he would allow me to leave so soon after we got married and continue my work in Kenya. So I'm really grateful to him. So he had a lot of things, and then I had a lot of things, so he said, we don't need any gifts. I said, okay. So if people want to give us a gift, and would it be okay if they give that gift to me to take to Kenya to use for my trip? He said yes, and so all the money that was raised from the wedding went for my work in Kenya. And so he's extremely supportive, and even now, you know, being able to have him there at home, because he's communicating with the individuals in that congregation and letting them know how I'm doing on the trip, and so they're praying for me, and that's really important. The fourth and final challenge is I never know what I'm going to do next, and so it's difficult to plan, I can only just say that I'm going to come again, and that as I move forward and I engage with people and I share with them what I'm doing, that they will then support me in my work, both financially and prayerfully, and that as I move on, I will be able to gain more donors like the ones that I have, who have been so generous, and that will then expand my work even more, because I know that what I'm doing is very beneficial for the people of Kenya and Uganda. I've spent 7 years working in Kimilili, and I've poured my heart, my energy, my time, my love, and when I came on this trip, I didn't know what I was going to do, because I feel like I have done enough for them, and I don't want to finalize it. I don't want to say I'm never going to see you again, because I declared it was going to be my home base, so I don't want to just desert them. But then I was inspired because of the project that I had done in 2012 and how that project has moved on. And even if I felt I had abandoned them, they were not abandoned. And so I feel like I have given the utmost to them. And now it's kind of like their turn to begin the work and build upon what I have invested in their community. And now I'm only getting started with Fred, and I have all this experience that I've developed over this time. You know, I've spent a huge amount of money on professional development and personal development for my own self. And so that's where I want to put my time and money and effort. And Fred wants me to invest in the project itself, and that's great, and I will certainly do that. But my desire now on this next trip that I come is to come first to Uganda and work with Fred, and then have him accompany me to Nairobi, have my people from Kimilili accompany me to Nairobi and visit a couple of projects there. If you travel internationally, you never can fail to receive an experience that you would never believe you could receive. It just changes you, it refreshes you. But the kind of experience that I like the best is when I'm able to go to a country and I'm able to stay with the people and eat with them and develop that relationship with them so that they begin to understand me. So any person who has any thought or any idea about traveling, if they were to travel with me, I'm already embedded into the communities in Kenya and now Uganda, and those people are totally trustworthy. So we would organize a tour that would be tailor-made to an individual, and the experience that you take away from this will expand your life in such a way that you cannot imagine it. You know, when you travel, you have to learn a different language, a different culture, a different money, and you have to work within the parameters of that culture. And when you look at it, you go home and you just are grateful. I'm grateful I have a toilet. I'm grateful my husband takes out the garbage. Like, it's just the small things, and that gratitude really changes you on the inside. So that there can never be enough said about what it means to travel internationally and to do a work that you never thought you could do, and to leave behind a mark on the people of Kenya and Uganda.